Shalom, Israel. Today's teaching is going to be titled Home Alone. What spirit are you going to let in? So this teaching is targeting the youth as well as parents and all of us of the dangers in the wilderness and how we have to rely on Yehovah for everything. Some of us might be in a single parent household or going through tough emotional and mental stress, and you believe you are in this alone. Take heed to the warning and do not repeat the sins of our generation, my generation, into your generation. Precept must be upon precept. You will get to understand on how there is nothing new under the sun, just new devices, and how we are still worshiping idols and respecting persons and committing all the works of the flesh this very day. It takes us on a journey to show the next generation and remind all how we have did how we did things according to the precepts of men and displeased our King. I'm going to show you how these things can get us and how our own emotions, situations can seem to be overwhelming, and Satan takes advantage of these things, and we have to be alert at a young age of these devices, even at an old age. So as usual, we're going to start Psalms 78 and 2, reading out of the Sovereign King James Bible, attached to Paleo Hebrew Spiritual Dictionary for the functions and definitions of the words in Scripture. Psalm 78 and 2, I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. So this is how he's going to talk to his people. In order to get understanding, Isaiah 28, 9 and 10, whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Psalms 119:4 and 104. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Verse 104, through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of the Spirit of God and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. So we need to stay in the book, precept upon precept, line upon line, to get the understanding, because the Spirit of God has gathered them. 2 Peter 1:20 and 21. Known is first that no prophecy of the Scripture is of any private interpretation, for the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost, by the separated body. So the people in here were those separated by the Most High with the Spirit of God in them, and wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And they came to write this down according to the Spirit to give the knowledge and understanding to us. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. And further by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. So home alone. So we know that we are the temple of God, and he's supposed to dwell in us, our house, our home, our temple. We don't want it to be alone. Our spirit has to inhabit it, one spirit or the other. We want Yehovah to be that spirit. So let's start with Genesis 2 and 18. I'm going to start with A. I just want A here. And the Spirit of God said, it is not good that man, male or female, should be alone. I said, amen, that's a true word. I just look back on my life and it's very true. It is not good at all for us to be left alone. We need help. We cannot possibly get through this wilderness unguided from Yehovah and make it to the kingdom. That is an impossibility. I titled this Home Alone because I was alone and without the guidance of Yehovah, and the streets were my home at that time. In addition, I also referenced this to the movie Home Alone, where a child, that's us, was left home, our vessel, alone with no parents, without the spirit of Yehovah, while the adversary tried constantly to get in and spoil the home, because neither child was alone in there and looked like easy prey. I want to show especially to the teens and the family that our house, our temple, needs to be inhabited with the spirit of Yehovah in order to protect us from the ancient and honorable. If our homes are left alone and we lean on our own understanding, making it easier for the serpent to slither into our house and spoil it and cause us to be contrary to the Most High. So with that, I have a pivot here. Let's go. I say in true word, Romans 3:4b. I said, God forbid, yea, let God be true, but every man a liar. Because he's not lying when he says that it's not good for us to be alone. Anyone who says that they can make it on their own without the Spirit, they're going to be lying to you. That thou mayest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Second Esdras 7:52. Second Esdras verses 7 verses 54. For we have walked in unpleasant places. Right? Just look at your life. You see, we have walked in unpleasant places. If we didn't have the Spirit, we were easy in walk into unrighteousness easily, without trying. Proverbs 29:15. The rod and reproof give wisdom. But here goes the kicker. But a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. So when we left alone, it brings the mother to shame. Mother, the spirit of wisdom, shame, nakedness, dishonor, disgrace. This is what happened when we left alone. Even though we're adults, we're still children. We still do childish things. Why? We should not be even looking back to those ways, but we are. So we shouldn't be left alone. Let me give a scenario. Let me show you how. Isaiah 44:10. Who have formed a god, an idol, or molten a graven image that is profitable for nothing. So this is not a small thing that's being done by us at a very young age, even as a teen. Let me give you some examples of this, and we do not even think about it sometimes as being that serious, but it is. First, let's go over the definitions of these words to get a better understanding of what is being done here. So formed is created, fashioned, molded, shaped. God, lowercase g, is an idol. So we're creating idols. Molten, cast, smelted. Graven, idolatry, false worship, spiritual adultery, and creator and creation. Image is a visible resemblance, something that you can see, an appearance, statue, which is profitable, advantage, use, useful, beneficial, for nothing. So these things that we do in this world, and we create we create by ourselves, and form these idols, and make images of them, and we worship them, and we hold to them. It's profitable for nothing. This is what we do as children. We do childish things. Let me give some examples. A gang is something graven, something man-made. It is portraying an image of unity or refuge for those who are lacking stability and protection, either mentally or emotionally or physically, rather than seeking Yehovah. The banner or gang flag is an idol that people worship. People spend their whole lives sacrificing or establishing covenant to that graven image which profited them nothing. There are three things that happens when getting involved with this idol: jail, death in the flesh, and the second death in the spirit. Listen, teens, male and female, do not get close to anyone who partakes in this idol and false worship. You stay in the guidance of Yehovah and give them the word of righteousness whenever you guys cross paths. Stay clear from them no matter how good a behavior they display around you. Because we remember that spirit is Satan, that serpent. It could be crafty. It might look good. You might think that you're looking at it with your eyes. You might think that, oh, that looks good. You know, you get all the girls, or they get this respect, or it's a unity, it's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood. It looks so good. And that's a deception, and that's an idol. And that's from Satan. Let's continue. Exodus 32:1. And when the people saw that Moses, the word of truth, delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods, idols, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. So we see an example of what I just said. We do this quickly, out the way, like children. When the parents go out, the kids will play. So let me put me into this. This reminds me of the same thing I did with my actual mother and father when I was given instructions all the day long. As soon as they went to work, I did my own unrighteous and self-willed behaviors, no different than this: indulging in gang activity, fornication with females, alcohol, drug use, and firearm usage. When we are stiff-necked and refuse to do right and want to follow after flesh, we take on the spirit of Satan, and here goes those works. On another viewpoint, as a child, I was emotionally numb. I was always just like kind of there, not understanding my family dynamics. And I was dealing with not being with my real father, and then dealing with being a teen and having parents that do not know Yehovah. So everybody's just doing the traditions of what they know. So I was facing some stressful situations. One, emotional numbness. I did not want to be on earth or alive at all. That's how I was feeling. Vulnerability for Satan to creep into my home and bring me into bondage. For all these, as we just seen up there, all those acts of sin and what came with it to inhabit my house, my vessel, my temple, where Jehovah's supposed to dwell, but instead I filled it with the other spirit. Isolation. I was isolated from the guidance of Jehovah and incapable of making wise decisions without the knowledge of the truth. And it was an unrealistic expectation and pressure to conform to this family dynamic I believe I should have. Putting pressure on myself, not knowing why me, as if I did something. So I was having these emotions and not knowing how to how would I say, I don't know why I was feeling those emotions at all in the first place, and then I didn't have anything to give me the truth on what I was feeling. So the crazy part, I did not know why I was feeling like that, because I seen other kids with the same situations doing what appeared to be well. I really was not affected in a way that I did not know what I should not be doing. I just did it because I was bored and unfulfilled. I felt like giving up. I know I shouldn't have been doing that and this and that, but I just still did it. Isaiah 45:16. They shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. So when we do these things and we run in the streets, we listen to this rap and these athletes and these so-called rich people, and it's all confusion, and we'll be confounded and in confusion. Let's give some examples here. So teens and family, when we make people our idols and take counsel from what they say, we are going to be confounded. When we are respect of persons and forsake knowledge, we will be put to shame. For example, we like to follow entertainers and athletes. The world is trying to force a culture on Israel according to their traditions, which is leading us astray and further from Yehovah. I'm going to give some examples. Rappers calling themselves demons, clearly saying that they are against God. Having your pants off your behind, indicating a homosexual lifestyle. Tattoos on your body, not following the word of Yehovah. Having multiple women and performing sexual acts and not marriage, fornication and adultery. Language and evil communication, contrary to Yehovah. They try to hypnotize you with the beats and repetitive catchy words, just as a serpent moves just as a serpent moves as a charmer plays his tune to control one's actions willingly or unwillingly to whoever is around. The stadiums they perform in, as well as the coliseums, are the same as church buildings made with hands. Leviathan is also in there as the head, and whoever is in there is the tail. In there are all the works of the flesh, and Christ does not dwell there as well. So I had a pivot. Let's go see what. So let me pull this up here. I went to Galatians 5:19 and 21 so we can see the works that are in these places. They're nothing different from a church building, a coliseum, and there's nothing good there. Christ is not there. So this is what's going on in there. 100%. This is guaranteed. I was there, so I'm telling you it's a guarantee because I know. We've all participated in that. So teens, I don't want you guys to go down the same path and go through a whole slew of torment when you don't have to. Just follow Yehovah. But that's ultimately up to you. Galatians 5:19 and 21. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery. They do this at R&B concerts or wherever. It doesn't matter what type of concert it is. You get drunk and start drinking, and anything could happen. Fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry. We're good at that. Witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envying, murders. They might drink and have beef with somebody, and they'll get their guns and they kill each other. Drunkenness, reviling, and such like. Of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. So it's impossible to operate in this way and enter into the kingdom of God, because they're clearly saying that they're against God. Clearly saying it. We're demons, we're this and we're that, murder. Everything they say out their mouth is all of these. Adultery, fornication, that's all they talk about. And that's all they do. And then you follow them, that's all you do. Then I went to Ezekiel 11 and 2. Let's get this bigger on the screen. Ezekiel 11. You're going to get to verse 2. No. Let's get down. It's too bad now. Okay. Then said he unto me, Son of man, these are the men that devise mischief and give wicked counsel in this city. This is them right here. Why are we listening to them? They want to give you advice on things and how to handle things that they clearly can't handle. But they're going to tell you how to do it. Hypocrites. James 2:23. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and so unto him, and say unto him, Sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, Stand thou there and sit here under my footstool. So we have a lot of worldly rich individuals that men and women take advice and counsel from just because they are rich. They're not smart, but they will regard them as such. Let me give you some names and examples. Now, I don't watch TV that much. I watch cartoons, but I hear about these individuals particular, and they're not the brightest. Steve Harvey, Shaquille O'Neal, Kanye West, Oprah Winfrey, all pastors and buildings, Dwayne Wade and wife, Morgan Freeman, etc., etc. The list goes on. The point is, we need to take counsel from Yehovah solely to be a light to these people, and if they will not hear, wipe off thy feet. But we are not in any way, shape, or form to heed counsel from such people. But we do it like clockwork. That's why we are confounded. This is why. Something about Steve Harvey making a book about something, telling women how to do something, but then now he's divorced and he has to pay. You can't give advice on things that you don't have down pat. Just let the Spirit guide you. They're giving you their opinion and thoughts, which are wrong. Clearly. The Most High will make it known in the open. James 2:4 and 5. Are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that promise him? So he's only promising to those who promise him. Those who hate him, he hates them too. He's not playing any games with any of us. Hold on, I skipped there. Let's see, I skipped I had a pivot here. Sirach 13, 20, 24 on the man with the goodly apparel. Let's go there. Sorry. Missed it. Ecclesiastes. Oh, Ecclesiasticus 13, 20 to 24. Okay, start here first. As the proud hate humility, so doeth the rich hate the poor. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. When a rich man falleth, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely, and could have no place. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They exalt him to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Riches are good unto him that have no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. This man could be saying the most dumbest stuff on earth, giving the most dumbest and stupidest advice on earth, and they take it. So now a man's going to tell you, a woman, how to do what she got to do, and they listen, and they buy it. Even though it don't work, but they buy it, and they follow it. But let you tell them that, oh no, you should only have one husband, and that's it, and you shouldn't fornicate. They ready to stone you. It's just crazy. You should wait till you get married. No, they don't want to hear none of that. James 2, 6, and 7. But ye have despised the poor, because he just told us you hate them. They hate the poor. Rich hate the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? Do not they blaspheme the worthy name by the which ye are called? Don't they? Colossians 2 and 8. Beware, lest any man spoil, male or female, spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. So when we have parents that do not know Yehovah, this is what we are dealing with. So it becomes the norm to participate in the traditions of the world and have our sons and daughters pass through the fire of Moloch unawares. So when we are at this stage, it's easy for the serpent to slither into your house through your ear, your eye, your nose, or mouth, or even your mind, and beguile you through your vulnerability and isolation. So as our parents were, we were caught up in these practices, such as wear condoms when you're fornicating. You ain't supposed to fornicate at all. Or wear condoms, supposed to just have one husband or wife, and that's it. Don't bring no trouble to my door. We just leave it outside. It's okay to have multiple partners. Let's celebrate every holiday. Balance is okay to protect yourself. Use your own judgment. It goes on and on. But when you have a child using his own judgment on these things, we know that what will happen. That's why it's not good for a man, male or female, to be alone. We're going to satisfy our flesh in every instant according to our own interpretation. As a teen or a kid in school, you can also be deceived and influenced by other kids who are being neglected or growing up too quick in worldly and fleshly behaviors. That can quickly get you caught up in unrighteous dealings. If you are weak-minded and not rooted in Yehovah, remember we are home alone. We have to fill our house, our home, our temple with the spirit of Yehovah. And we have the devil who is trying to get in our house and spoil it. Let's protect against that. So I have a pivot over here on the note. Let's go there. Let's go to Matthew 3:27. So we can see an example of that. 3. Okay. I think I wrote the wrong. No, it's not 3. It might be 13. Hold on. Matthew 3:20. No. So, give me a second. Let me get this right here. Sorry, give me 1 second. Where are we at? So it's not 3. So it's not Matthew, it's Mark. I knew it was something wrong with that. So it's Mark 3:27. Sorry about that. We go to Mark 3, verse 27. Here we go. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. So he's not just going to get in there like that unawares. He first has to bind the strong man. We just seen that. Okay, let me get this. Finish with this. All right. Finish with this. All right. Genesis 3:4 and 5. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For God doeth know that in the day ye eat, the day ye learn thereof, then your eyes, your understanding, shall be open, and ye shall be as gods. Just lowercase g, idle, knowing good and evil. So we see an example here of philosophy and vain babbling, and we have been deceived, the parent and children from our youth. Now watch how the serpent gets in the house through the eyes and the mind. This is also an example of the babble that you get from peer pressure when you are even near people your parents told you to stay away from. Once you get to talking through your speech, that deceiver knows which way he or she will flip you up. That's why your parents tell you to go the other way or stay away. Once we do the opposite of what our Father says, we are spoiled, and before you know it, we are caught up in a lifestyle that leads to death. Let's go more. Let me get this up. Okay. So despite everyone having to go through this, the children are able to receive the truth from Yehovah and avoid your houses to be taken and rather filled up with the spirit of your creator. So we know Adam, us, took and did eat, learn against the commandments of Yehovah. So when we do these, we are following and operating under a different spirit. When we believe science more than Yehovah, that's a different spirit. When we listen to a rapper or athlete or entertainer over Yehovah, that is another spirit. When anybody is leading you on a different path than what Yehovah has set is another spirit. On the next slide, you'll see the spirit and how it operates when you take it on. But first, let's pivot. 1 Peter 4:12. Let's see what that's saying and why it's saying what it's saying. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. So we all go through this. Children, adults, everyone. We all going to be tried. So when we follow in the direction of Yehovah, then we get the victory. When we don't, then we fail. It could even lead to death in the flesh and then the second death. But to avoid that, we just follow what Yehovah's saying. And the teens here who have an opportunity not to stumble on things that we stumbled on, more power to you if you obey the commandments of Yehovah. Things out there might look enticing. It might look enticing and feel good and this, and you think that you're getting that he's not seeing, but he sees all. Don't think that you can do it now and have time. You want to live your life. I want to live my life. You live. No, 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 no. Live for Yehovah. This should be your life right here. No need to repeat the same mistakes. So let's see what that spirit is when you're not listening to Jehovah. What spirit is that's going to be in your house? Isaiah 9:15. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teaches lies, he is the tail. So when we are listening to Satan, he is the head, and we are the tail. We are the lackeys. So if anyone is telling you to do opposite of the right thing according to the Most High, then you are being led from death to death. Teens, if you allow a peer or peer pressure to allow you to take on the spirit, when you have the opportunity to flee and do it not, then you are operating under the spirit of the ancient and honorable, that great dragon. The crazy part is that they're putting it now as they're saying that it's a culture. So now rap is your culture. Pants down is your culture. Carrying guns is your culture. Sleeping with multiple women, that's your culture. Doing what you want to do is your culture. Murder, that's your culture. This is not true. That's the philosophy and vain babbling that they do. That's the prophet that teaches lies because they're ministers of Satan. How can they give you a culture when they didn't even make themselves? They can't even save themselves. So I'm gonna bring it closer to the teens, the male and female. Simply put, get guidance from your parents, and if that does not suffice or seem right, you go to Yehovah. Do not let the philosophy of the world make you believe that you need to go to a heathen to get some mental health or medication or to heal. Rather, understand how to combat thoughts that conflict with your thought process. The adversary does not always come as a danger outwardly. It can be anyone and seem harmless as ever. So it can come both ways. Is what Let's see what he says. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Spirit of God had made, and he said unto the woman, Yea, have God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? So I say this so far to let you know we all been through these situations, these thoughts, feelings. You have to lean on Yehovah and stay in the faith. The flesh might seem beautiful and arousing to you, and you might want to fit in or whatever people say these days. But Satan creeps in subtly, very slick, very nonchalant sometimes. Let me give you a quick view of how many spirits I took on from my youth, sixth grade on up. I learned these things from girls and boys my age and being unsupervised, at my grandparents' house or anything, making decisions contrary to my parents while watching something simply as a TV show in the night. When you're watching cartoons and the cartoons turn to adult tunes and your eyes and open and your flesh is excited. This is the subtlety even through the television. Now we got computers where things just pop up on it while you're looking at your Bible app. You have things popping up on your email. You have people on the job or in the world with their own agendas. It may seem innocent, even subtly in an R&B song that seems like love, but it's really lust. But in the end, they all lead you to the same place if it's against the laws of Jehovah. So I'm going to give you an example of a king who did not hearken to the counsel of the wise, but took counsel from his friends, people his age, through peer pressure. Before we go there, let's pivot to. So we see that the serpent can come through subtlety, or he also can come through this way. Let's see. And we must do this. We must be sober and be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Let's look up a couple of those words in a spiritual dictionary. Let's look this up. Let me see. Sober. You got to be sober. What? Sober. Yes. of a sound mind, temperance, vigilance, self-control, freedom from worldly distractions. You gotta have that self-control. Things get arousing, and it opens up your eyes. You look in, and now you can't turn away. You have to have that self-control. The adversary. Let's see what the adversary. Let's see if he's the friend or a foe. What is the adversary? What does the adversary come to do? Is he coming to play games with us, or let's see. Matter of fact, the adversary, antichrist, false prophet, a deceiver, a beast, evil men, Leviathan, a dragon. This don't sound like they're coming to be friends with you. Does it? Devil, accuser, fallen angel, tempter, slanderer, wicked one. He's not here to play with us. So he can come subtile, and he can come putting pressure on you violently. Now let's go see about this king. 1 Kings 12, 1-3. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel will come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt in the house of bondage, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt. Then they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, so this is Solomon's son. Go back, read. As you do your reading, this will pop in your head. 1 Kings 12, 4-5. Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke, which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. 1 Kings 12, 6-7. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people? So he's asking counsel on what the people are asking for from him. He's asking counsel on what he should do. Verse 7, and they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. So they gave him some good counsel there. So it seems. 1 Kings 12, 8-9. But he forsook the counsel of the old men. So the old men, the ancient men, the men that was there with his father, he forsook that counsel. People with experience, he forsook that counsel, which they gave him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him and which stood before him. So there's a problem there. And we do that. We did that, and the young people are doing that now. The teens, they're just complete followers, and they don't want any knowledge. They like to Google and what is this? Go get information from Google and YouTube from people their own age. You got someone 60 years old telling them, don't do that, young blood, don't do that, young boy. And then they rather listen to a 14-year-old who's 14 like them. And then wonder why what's happening to them is happening. Verse 9. And he said unto them, what counsel give you that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter. So these young men don't have any experience. They don't even know what it is to be a king or to serve anyone. They're still learning. But the old men have already seen the people. They know the people. They already know how to handle them and how a king should be acting towards his people. So that's why they gave him the advice that they gave him. But let's see what advice he took. And the young men that were, 1 Kings 12, 10, 11. And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, now let's hear what the young one is going to say. Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, the father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. That thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now whereas my father did lay you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father has chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. This doesn't sound too bright at all, but so Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, and as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day. And the king answered the people roughly and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him. So this is what we do, which we should not, young ones. Even us adults do this when it comes to the Most High telling us to do something. And we listen to the voice of our own childish spirit or receiving contrary and wrong instructions and counsel. 1 Kings 12, 14, and 15. And spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Spirit of God, that he might perform his saying which the Spirit of God spake by Ahijah the Silonite and Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So I got that little discussion on the side, so we can go there. And we already know why it's happening. Let's go back and read. 1 Kings 11, 29 to 35. Let's get there. So, of course, we know what, Solomon did. We go back and read that. Because whenever we don't obey Yehovah, there's a consequence. And you're going to pay the consequence no matter what. No matter what you believe, you're going to pay it. So 1 Kings 11, 29 to 35. There we go. And it came to pass at the time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah the Silonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. Verse 31. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Spirit of God, the God of Israel, behold, remember, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon and will give 10 tribes to thee. So Solomon did something that got the kingdom rent out of his hand, and the Spirit of God is performing that, what he said, because his word will not return void. Verse 32 and 33. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me. This is what they did, and worship Ashtaroth, the god of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the idols of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, and to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments as David, his father. You go back and look at that. He told him, if you will keep my listen to my voice or obey my voice indeed, then he will do what he performed, what he said he was going to perform, but he didn't hearken, as we don't do as well. Verse 34 and 35. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hands, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David, my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hands, and I will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. So that's what happened right there. The Spirit of God is performing his word. And that's why it says that there. First Kings 12, 16, and 17. So when all Israel saw the king hearken not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. So those who had to live over there, he ruled over them anyway. 1 Kings 12, 18, and 19. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. So he trying to send messages to collect something. They killed them. They're not playing. 1 Kings 12, 20 and 21. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, and 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. So now he upset. He embarrassed, and now he's upset. Now he's ready to go murder. This is us. 1 Kings 12, 22, 24. But the word of God came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, speaking to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, thus saith the Spirit of God, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Spirit of God, and returned to depart according to the word of the Spirit of God. So he said, knock that off. You guys get over there. You guys get back over there. I'm letting you know this is from me. Simple. 1 Kings 12, 25 and 27. Then Jeroboam built Shishim and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Peniel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, in his mind, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. So now he already got a message from the Spirit of God through the prophet. Now he's using his own mind and own understanding, and look what's going to happen now. If this people go to do established covenant into the house of the Spirit of God at Jerusalem, then shall the heart, the mind of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me. So he's worrying about his own life. And go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah. Let's see what he's doing. Let's see what his own heart, our own hearts, are going to do. Let's see what this child is going to do when left alone to his own thoughts and his own mind. 1 Kings 12, 28, 30. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. That reminds us of something. And said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy gods, thy idols, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of the house of bondage. So he did it again. We just seen that in Exodus. Now we're doing it again. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin. For the people went to worship, respect before the one, even unto Dan. So now he got the people sinning with him. 1 Kings 12, 31, 32. And he made a house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah, and he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethel, sacrificing, establishing covenant unto the calves that he had made. And he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made. Again, we're making these things up. We're not getting counsel from the Most High. We're making our own idols in high places and worshiping them. Let's check let's pivot for a second. 1 Corinthians 3:16. So through all these things, we still haven't gotten the understanding and the knowledge from the Most High, because we still leaning on our own understanding. We still in our own heads. 1 Corinthians 3:16 and 17. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, is separated, which temple ye are. So we're the temple, we're the house, we're the tabernacle. We're supposed to be the place where his Spirit resides. Hebrews 9:24. This is where it's all going. This is Who's going to dwell in your temple? What spirit? The ancient and honorable or the ancient of days? Which one? Choose. Hebrews 9:24. For Christ is not entered into holy places made with hands. Jeroboam, church buildings, supposed church buildings. For God is not entered into holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the truth, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. First Kings 12:33. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered upon the altar and burnt incense. So this is an example to show how we forsaken wise counsel from Yehovah can lead to a disaster. Knowing when we obey the voice, we are a kingdom of kings and priests, holy people, servants of Yahweh, and that we are doing our job and ministering through the word to his people. We are just to feed the flock and get out the way. Here we see a king forsook the wise counsel to treat the people well and hearken to their complaint and lighten their burden. However, he allowed his friend and peer pressure to dictate his decisions, resulting in this. The people rebelled against him. He's now angry and ready to murder the same people he was supposed to lead. The people made another king over themselves. The people started setting up idols and worshiping them. Leaders started leaning on their own understanding, causing Jehovah's people to fall into sin and iniquity that fast. As kings and priests, we have to give the word of Yehovah and direct the people according to his words, not our own. Not being rulers over them, just servants of Yehovah, taking care of business, being obedient vessels. So our house needs to be filled with the spirit of the Most High, not the spirit of Satan. If we let him guide us, those robbers will flee and our fathers can rest in the house and protect us. Oh, 1 Peter 5:2, feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being an example to the flock. Those kings are the leaders. They need to be an example of the spirit. But as we can see, they're in their own mind and emotions, making their own decisions and letting that power get to their head. We can also see how one unrighteous action and thought can lead to a multitude of situations that can come out from that bearing unrighteous fruit and leading others down the same path of darkness and destruction. Because from that event, many things happen. Job 38:2. Who is it? Who is this that darketh counsel by words without knowledge? So this is rampant in Israel. Of course, I'm going to give you some examples. And then we're going to go to the scriptures. So we got Dwayne Wade, and I heard about this pretty much, telling his son it's okay to be his daughter. So I believe his son now is like a girl dressed up and all this, and it's saying it's okay. Leviticus 20:13. Let's see. I have more than this, but let's Leviticus 20:13. If a man lie with mankind as he lied with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood, their lifestyle shall be upon them. So it don't matter if he's saying he's a woman, he's still a man, and he goes and lie with a man. He shall surely be put to death, and his lifestyle shall be upon him. Oprah Winfrey saying, is that how you spell her name? Oprah. There are many ways to God. Let's see that what God says according to his precepts. 2nd Esdras 7:3-8. Many ways. She says many ways. Many ways. Right. Okay. Let's see if there's many ways. Second Esdras 7, 3-8. And I said, Speak on, my God, my guide. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. So it's a narrow, like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, and how could he come into the broad? There was also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and full of good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. So she's a liar. Kanye West keeps marrying the heathen, and then he wants to be the president, and then he wants to do all these things. Let's see what the Spirit says about these actions and stuff that we're doing, and things that he's teaching people with the visual and what comes out of his mouth. It's always going to be blaspheming and against the Spirit, because that's what his flesh wants to do. That doesn't mean that it's right. We're going to go to Judges 14, 1-3. Because these are examples of things that are already done. There's nothing new under the sun. 14. And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now Samson is an Israelite, right? A Nazarite. And so Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore, get her for me to wife. So she looked good on the outside. He telling his mother, go get her. That's what I want. She looking good. That's what I want. Right? That's my type. Then his father and mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. So he's only worrying about the flesh, not thinking about the spiritual consequences that's going to come behind, and how you're going to put them kids or them bastards through all that confusion. For what? Because you wanted to do what you wanted to do in the flesh. These things are unwise. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 1-9. Got something there. I'm just going to show examples of why these things doesn't make any sense. If we're not hearkening to the voice and the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High, we can't be making up our own stuff, because it's going to lead us astray. The thing that has been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. So the same way I'm giving you examples from old for what they're doing now, it's the same exact thing. So why are we not learning? Some of us just want to chase the flesh, and he already told you the ending of flesh. 1 Corinthians 6-9. Let's see what that's saying. Know ye not that do 9 and 10. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor adulterers, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, that's the Wayne Wade son, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. So they could do and say what they want, but they're not getting it. They're not going to force their way in, right? Jeremiah 10, 2 and 3, because he told us this, and we don't follow directions. We're stiff-necked. Let's go to Jeremiah 10. What I got? 2 and 3. And we love to do it. We love to do it and then take their knowledge and acting like we smart when we do it. Thus saith the Spirit of God, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. That's all I wanted right there. It's vain. A bunch of nothingness. Going to lead you nowhere but to death. Learn not that way. Learn his way. For your own good. Choose life and live. Choose death and die. Ephesians 5, 3 and 5. Some more instructions he said, but we don't listen. Five, 3 and 5. Wait a minute. Okay, it's bouncing up. 3 to 5. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man who is an adulterer, have any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God, of Yehovah and of God. So they're not getting in if they continue with those behaviors. Some is going to continue, they're already not getting in. Deuteronomy 23 and 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Spirit of God. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Spirit of God. So guess what? A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Spirit of God. Deuteronomy 23:17. That's not going to change. Deuteronomy 23:17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. So they're picking they're getting their riches here. They worry about this life. This is the life that they chose, and they're gonna, I guess, live it to their fullest. Because in the next life, it's not for them. Genesis 6 and 5. So we seen them what the king was doing, Jeroboam was doing. He said in his mind, in their own minds, they're taking counsel about their own heart, right? And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So we, man, darken counsel when we lean on our own understanding and not take counsel from the Spirit of Yehovah. The thing is, we say the most dumbest things, and it's always against the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. We just want to follow the flesh and do what we want. We get a little money, and we are now the most intelligent beings on earth in our own mind. Now, as we wind it down, let's get a picture of what we need to have in our homes, in our houses, in the tabernacle, so we can have a defense against Satan and the serpent and the ancient and the honorable, and that deceiver, that devil. Proverbs 2 and 6. For the Spirit of God giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. So we can't lean on our own heart and our own understanding and our own mind. The Spirit of God giveth wisdom. So we want to use that wisdom. We need to be filled with that knowledge and that understanding. Stop worrying about what man's doing. Don't listen to man's understanding and rationale. It has to be from the Spirit of God. That's our God. Let's start off with this wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Exodus 19 and 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Is all the earth Oprahs or Kanye's? Or no, they die just like everybody else. Why are we not getting wisdom from the Creator? And if means providing, you do. Those who are not hearkening to his voice, he's not talking to them. It had nothing to do with them. Let's understand something as well. 2 Chronicles 15:2. And he went out to meet Asa and said unto him, Hear ye me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. The Spirit of God is with you, while ye be with him. And if ye, providing ye seek him, he will be found of you. But providing ye forsake him, he will forsake you. So we do not want our house to be forsaken. We do not want to be alone. It is not good that man should be alone. When we leave the Spirit of Yehovah, he will leave us. When we leave the statutes, commandments, and following his voice, he will leave us. You go back and you read Deuteronomy 28:15-68 and find out he is not playing the game with us. Matthew 23:38. Behold, remember, your house is left unto you desolate. Desolate, barren, empty, forsaken, waste, void, ruined. Come on, we're not listening. And even though all these things is happening to us, we still not listening. That's crazy. Jeremiah 3:25. We lie down in our shame, and our confusion covereth us. For we have sinned against the Spirit of God our God, we and our fathers, from our youth even unto this day, today, and we have not obeyed the voice of the Spirit of God our God. So we still not doing it. Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. So we know how to start a million movements. We still don't understand. Nothing will change unless we trust and we turn into Yehovah. We can start many movements. Let's not shop in Target. Let's not, whatever. Let's, Black Panthers, Black Flowers. They start so many things on their own, according to their own mind, according to our own minds, but we don't really get it. We're not trying to turn to the Creator. We're still trying to turn to flesh. We still want a fleshly solution to our spiritual problems. This foolishness. So we're gonna keep running to the same wall, just in a different name, and then wonder why, and then call it peace after a while once you get tired. But there's no peace. Just foolishness. Romans 7:18-20. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. So in us is no good thing. We need to put good things in us, which is the Spirit of Yehovah, and become one with the body of Christ. If we do not obey, we will leave our home open and vulnerable to Satan and his influences that lead us to death. So I'll give you some examples on how we get protection for our homes against the adversary. We need to keep sin out of our houses. We need to do this to kill the flesh. We move in the Spirit. We let the Spirit guide us and protect us. It's a simple resolution, but it's not simple to do. During the journey, some people will get uncomfortable and turn back to their own vomiting or turn to salt, or we can't do that. We need to keep moving forward. Galatians 5:16. This I say, then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So this is exactly the point. Get rid of that fleshly thoughts, the thoughts that you have in your mind, what you would do. No. Take that all out, take it because it's garbage, throw it away, and just ask Yehovah, what should I do? Stay still and get the directions. Hearken to the voice. Win the battle, get the victory through the Spirit. Isaiah 11:2 and 3. And the Spirit of God shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the desire of the Spirit of God. And shall make him of quick understanding and desire of the Spirit of God. And he shall not judge after his sight of his eyes, of his understanding, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. So that's where we want the counsel from, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding from. We don't want to judge after our own sight, after our own understanding. Pluck it out. Ecclesiastes 7:12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. So we got people with money with no knowledge, with no wisdom, and they just talking. All this money, no knowledge. What's the point? It's a waste. Their riches is down here. Luke 2:46. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in a temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. So now the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, the counsel that we get, and this is a way that we do it. Sit in the temple in the midst of the doctors. Let's see what this means. The doctor, teacher of the law, a teacher. To hear, to perceive, listen, asking questions, self-examination, inquiry, reflection. Luke 2:52. And salvation increases in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. So he's increasing by doing those things that we just seen. And there's another way also. 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Or you thought you didn't have to do nothing? That's cute. Here we go. Isaiah 28:9 and 10. Matter of fact, Isaiah 28:10. Let's see. Let's see how we're gonna, because he told us this. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Verse 9. Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So this is how we getting our understanding and our knowledge and increasing in wisdom. This is how we doing it. He's not going to download anything like your computer and just download it and you pray for it and you're going to get it and then you're good. Till the ground. We've seen that in Genesis. Let's get to Psalms 119:4. We did this at the beginning of the lesson. I do this at the beginning of every lesson for a reason. Where are we at? Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. That's a commandment. Hearken to thy voice. You'll see the benefits of it in your life and in your studies and in your understanding. 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Nobody can just sit there and tell you something, give you a scripture and tell you something. No, you know how to rightly divide that truth. You got to study. What you spend most of your time doing, that tells you what you really want to do. Isaiah 34:16. And this is where you need to do it at. Seek ye out of the book of the Spirit of God and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth it have commanded, and his spirit it have gathered them. So if his spirit gathered them, once you get that in you, you got your defense there from the adversary. You'll know how to maneuver. Proverbs 24, 3 and 4. Through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Exodus 31 and 3. And I have filled him with the Spirit of God in wisdom, in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship, to devise cunning works, to work in gold and silver and in brass, and in cutting of stones, to set them, and in carving of timber, to work in all manner of workmanship. So he filled him, the tabernacle, the temple, the house, the vessel, no longer home alone. Those robbers, that serpent, that Leviathan cannot get in that house if we are guided by Yehovah. So we have to forsake everything that pertains to the flesh and be obedient to Yehovah. Jeremiah 3:15 is another method that that Yehovah gives us the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to my heart. So we see over there with Jeroboam and Rehoboam, they will listen to their own heart. No. He don't want that. I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So they're going to teach you these things, precept upon precept, as we just seen. So as we wind it down, Malachi 3 and 10. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house. And prove me now herewith, saith the Spirit of God of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be enough room to receive it. Blessing, knowledge of God, giving knowledge of God. Tithes, our portion. We got to give our portion to Omer daily. Continue studying. That he could dwell in our house, which is his house. Because we're going to kill our flesh. We're going to be obedient to the word. And whatever he says, we do. He calls, we answer. So we need the Spirit to perform all those things that we need to do. Yehovah's our roadmap, and we need to fill our homes with the Spirit. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 6, 19 and 20. I hope someone is getting this. I hope the teens got, someone's feeling like that out there, that, it's not, Yehovah can get those thoughts together. It's not something to be ashamed of, but you need to address it with the word. That's the only way you could do it. If I knew that, I would have did it sooner, but everything happens for a reason. 1 Corinthians 6, 19 and 20. What? Know ye not that your body is a temple of the separated body which is in you, which ye have of our guide, and ye are not your own? For ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. So our house is his house. He needs to dwell in there. He needs to rule that. We can't do it alone, right? And the Spirit of God said it's not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. So now we know who the companion is. We know who needs to help us. So we can no longer be alone. Now the home can be a resident to the Spirit and protect us from the adversary, as we've been saying. Matthew 7, 24 and 25 for the final scripture. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man that built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. So in conclusion, we need to have ears to hear. We need to put in our work through the forms expressed before. Then we will have refuge in our home. We will have help from Yehovah. Then will the Spirit of Yehovah dwell in our houses. Then we will have strength during our journey on this narrow path and be able to endure to the end. So I hope someone got some understanding here. This is a warning from the devices of Satan that we need to avoid. Parents, if you have teens, everything they're watching and doing, we need to be monitoring it. And teens, if you're old enough, you need to be monitoring yourselves. Don't wake up this flesh. You need to start killing it. Don't put yourself in situations unnecessarily, and you put yourself in a place where you can't get out, and then die suddenly. This is serious. It's not a game. All right. So I hope someone got something from this. And until next time, shalom.